meant, but the most important thing why I am selecting this paper, particularly the health aspect and their indigenous health context. Again, I try to highlight the title, The Contextualizing Health, Traditional Healing Practice and its Relevance, and a ethnographic study among Mankadia tribe of Odisha. As you know, the health, if you talk about the definitions of health according to World Health Organization's 1948, that it has mentioned that health is a state of complete physical, social, mental well-being of people, not merely the absence of disease. It means it indicate, it highlight, it try to localize how health is a multi-dimensional factor, multi-dimensional aspect that we should focus. Health or health is not detrimental, or health is not determined by a single factor. It may be economic, it may be livelihood, it may be political, it may be social, it may be cultural, it may be any single factor. Rather, the health of an individual or of a community is determined by larger segment, larger aspect of society, or larger structural aspect of society where health is determined. And coming to the backdrop of health of tribal people, I think it is very pertinent to discuss about the health of tribal. Why we are talking about tribal health? And if you see the NFHS, National Family Health Data, or the NFHS 5 2021 or 2019 and 22, or previous NFHS data, there is a very clear-cut difference between the health status particular report. It may be IMR, MMR, or any the disease burden. It may be the communicable or non-communicable disease burden. It is most important, it is higher among the tribal people. And if you see their they are locating in the sense where they are living and what kind of situation they are encountering. The most important that, as we know, even there are many anthropologists, many sociologists, many social scientists, they have been done a very commendable job to locate tribal health and how the culture of tribal people directly, indirectly influence their health condition. That is most important. When I talk about my paper here, I try to highlight three important things, that what is the meaning of health, actually the tribe, how the internalization of health by the Mankadia tribe, number one. And most important thing, what are the factors, what are the conditions, how the conditions influenced their health-seeking behavior. Second one. Third one, how they address their disease burden, whether they try to address it their own indigenous healing mechanism, or we call it the traditional medicinal aspect, traditional healing practices. They do it, or they seek help, or they go about the help of biomedicine, the existing biomedicine in country. As you know, I think all of we agree that if you see the health scenario of our country, it is a very precarious condition. You talk about the doctor ratio, you talk about the infrastructural facilities, and you talk about the assessing healthcare facilities. They are very detrimental to given or to define health of a person in a general. But when coming to the tribal population, I think the burden is a double, and the burden is a more difficult to counter what kind of health issues they are facing and what conditions they are addressing their health issues, what kind of the existing biomedicine or medical system giving them support to address their health issues. So there are big questions, but here I try to address how the Mankadia people, the main first objective of my paper, that how Mankadia understand the health condition or how they define health. Second one, how the socio-structural aspect define their health condition. condition. And hard objective that highlight that how the cultural aspect or socio-cultural aspect of Mankadia tribe influence their health-seeking behavior. Fourth one, the presence or status of traditional healers in their community and how they give a timely support to Mankadia people in the time of the need. And most importantly, one thing I would like to highlight here that very important, that is the felt need of tribal people. There are, you know, that there are many policy mechanism, policy makers, they try to formulate policy for the betterment of health conditions of people and particularly more proactive to tribal populations. But the missing point is that the policy maker generally forget the felt need of tribal people. What is felt need? And it is very crucial to address health issues of tribal populations. What felt need? It tries to just locate what actually tribal people they in day-to-day life understand health, whether when they unable to work or when they feel show some when someone will identify somebody is seeking medical treatment or medical help. So it is also very important to try to make policy. It means everybody try to understand the felt need of tribal. It includes their way of life. It includes their food. It includes their livelihood. It includes their economic position. It includes their habit. It includes their sanitation process. It includes their behavioral aspect. There are many aspects, crucial aspects. We have to find out, we have to understand whether they are working in proper manner or not. Then we can think about what is the felt need of Mankadia tribe. They are living in the northern part of Mayurbhanj or Keunjhar or Jajpur or some extent in Sambhalpur. So there are gaps. What my study or what I try to highlight here, there are visible in healthcare facilities in tribal dominated areas. Hello. Yeah. So I try to just highlight that what kind of the health issues or what is the felt need of Mankadia tribe and when they try to approach biomedicine and when they need to take help of their own traditional healers. And during my field study, I clearly observed that they use both biomedicine as well as their own indigenous medicine. It means the medicine or healers, their own community member. Three important things they play very detrimental role influencing Mankadia tribal health seeking behavior. One, the trust level. Second, the affordability. And third, the accessibility. Three important factors that directly, indirectly influence or attract Mankadia people to approach their own healers or their own community members at the time of sick or at the time of disease. Number one, it doesn't mean that they are not seeking help of biomedicine. Of course, they also approach to the allopathy or biomedicine. They also approach to hospital. But the question mark is that whether they get all sorts of medical helps from the existing system. The answer is definitely not. All we agree that the existing system, although they try to provide, but I think there are certain things missing very uprightly, that even today also we are struggling to get proper doctor, the exact ratio of doctor, nurse, infrastructures, timely support. There are many health issues. We general people struggling. Think about the tribal people, those who are living in the hill areas. And we talk about the addressing health issues. So what kind of health issues they are suffering? Whether the communicable disease, non-communicable disease, the lifestyle diseases or any other diseases. So if you identify, are we serious to make a proper plan to address? That is the big questions. Coming to the Mankadia tribal people, again I try to highlight this community is a very small community of Odisha, and their livelihood primarily or mainly depend on the Siali creeper. They try to make ropes using the Siali creepers, and they sell at the nearest market. This was the traditional livelihood or traditional occupations, but recent time, in contemporary time, they have changed some extent. They are engaging themselves in different wage labor activities or small business activities. But it is very interestingly that the forest law, which we know that I think the morning session, one of the respected, I think Professor Garuda sir or Birendra Shuna sir, they have, I think, highlight that how earlier tribal people predominantly or they have very good access to the forest. But you know that we have a Forest Right Act or forest laws. And after that implementations, what kind of issues actual tribal people are facing? I was 1.5 years in the Karanjia and Karanjia block, very close to Similpal. And the most important thing I observed during my field study, that I have mentioned that their livelihood primarily dependent the Siali creepers they collected from the forest, and they use it for a very various domestic productions like rope and other items used by domestic animals, and they sell it at the nearest market. This is the only occupations they dependent very earlier. But they have to go the forest, they have to collect it, and then again they will process it and they market it, and they will carry forward their livelihood and their economic activities. But most interesting, after the forest law implemented by the government of India, and what sorts of problem actually came out after the implementation of forest law, that is very crucial. As a policymaker, as a academician, we have a long discourse on that, whether the tribal people get benefited after the forest law, whether we have to overlook the Panchashila principles of our Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. That time our first prime minister, he earmarked the importance of 5 principles related to the tribal people. After that, there are many anthropologists. They have also very clearly mentioned that what kind of policy should be for tribal people for maintaining the socio-cultural ethos of tribal people without harming, without disturbing their cultural ethos, without disturbing their cultural needs. That is important. But what happened after the implementation of forest policy? Tribal peoples outrightly denied to enter forest and collect the basic needs which they have to do it. That is the biggest problem right now. They cannot enter forest anytime. They cannot collect anything according to their own will. That is the biggest setback of forest policy. So after that, there are many forest related laws came out by the government of India time to time, and there are many economic policies framed by the government of India and government of Odisha relating to their livelihood, economy, job, educations, and the upliftment of socio-economic conditions. But the question is whether the government has achieved it. If not, what kind of problems are there? Whether the academician policymakers have sincerely worked out it find out the solution, yes or no? That is the biggest questions. And coming to the my Mankidia tribal population, as I have mentioned that it is a very small community in Odisha context, and it belongs to PVT's category, particularly vulnerable tribal group. And as you know that the particular vulnerable tribal group, the basic criteria, it is all about their economic, educations, and the habitats. These are the major criteria to define or name as a particular vulnerable tribal group. And there are many constitutional provisions for the development of tribal people, particular the PVTs, particular vulnerable tribal group. And most important, interesting thing I would like to highlight here, even my MPhil, I also conducted my MPhil work on a tribal population in Koraput district. And the topic was OTLP, Odisha Tribal Empowerment Livelihood Program. And very interestingly, when I was in the field, I really observed what sorts of development actual government has done in the name of Odisha Tribal Livelihood Empowerment Program. So it was astonishing when I observed. So I do not like to highlight the result, but it is very negatively I observe. But think that when we think about health, that is, I think, the fundamental right of people to get. And most importantly, if you see any developing country, any progressing country in Europe, and you go Finland, Norway, you see the allocations of GDP, what percentage of GDP they allocate for health and educations. And comparing our nations, you can see recent budget also, you will find out the big difference of the budget allocations of health. I think it's below 1%. So you think about what kind of health and education will improve in general people, forget about tribal people. So I would like to highlight the Mankidia tribal people, what kind of health issues actually they generally suffers, and how they trust their healers. I found three kind of healers, namely Oja, Dhiri, and Mati. Mati, the related to shamanism, and Oja, the herbalist, and Dhiri, the spiritual healer. They particularly they take help from these three healers, and I think the Oja is the highest. Means it has some more reputation in comparing to other two, but three are very helpful. Their tribal, their community members, and most importantly, right now the changing scenario of Mankidia tribal people. What I observed during my field study that it was not the conditions earlier they came to settle, and they settled very close to their forest. And as I have already mentioned, their livelihood, life, social, culture, each and every aspect directly connected to the nature and forest. And after the settling the nearby villages, right now there are some visible changes. Some of them have converted to other religion, and some of them right now they have taken off in different small business as their livelihood options. Somehow right now they are more conscious about their daily habits, the social habits, behavioral patterns they have changed. And in a single word, I can tell, somehow they have changed. Somehow their socioeconomic condition changed, but not in a visible manner, not in a very remarkable manner. There are many things we need to address. Not only the Mankidia tribal is concerned, but other remaining tribal people, those who are residing various regions of our state. As we know that there are government also highlighted the aspirational districts. There are also many PVTs and normal tribal group are living. So coming to the health, as I have already mentioned, that how the contextualizations of health, how the Mankidia people internalize health in their own language, and most importantly, how they address their health disease burdens, taking the help of biomedicine as well as their indigenous or own traditional healers' help, and remaining the challenges, what kind of policy mechanism need to do for the betterment of the Mankidia tribal people in the coming future. That is a question mark. So definitely I tried my level best during my field work to address some of the issues. Some extent I may helpful for them or not, but even today also I interact with the community of tribal community members. So this is all about my paper. It is all about the health, contextualizing of health and healing among Mankadia tribe of Odisha. So with this, I think I have to conclude here. I welcome if you have any questions and doubt, informations you want from me, I will welcome to. Thanks you again to all of the organizing members to giving me such a beautiful platform to share my ideas, not knowledge, share my ideas. So thank you again, all of you. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Patra, for sharing your ideas about health, complexities of health in specific context of Mankandia tribe of Odisha, where you talk about how a less number of PVTG Mankadia faced multiple problems. They have their day-to-day activities regarding their health system. They have structural aspect of health. There is cultural aspect of health and day-to-day life aspect of health. Also, you talk about the medical pluralism, where the people acquire the health where they get. They go to traditional healers, also you go to the allopathic healers. Then you have to also talk about and link this health aspect to Forest Right Act. And you also talked of Forest Right Act and how is the cases are this. In this respect, I would just want to say one thing. Today's paper, there is Forest Right Act and there is involvement is happening coming in the Hindu, where they mention there's the Odisha, there is a second highest cases solved, right, Forest Right Act. Okay, but also there is 6th largest pending cases of forest right. Okay, so you have very nicely deliberated your ideas. And now floor is open for the questions. Anybody have any questions, comment, modification, suggestion? Yes, yes, sir.
As we understand, Mankadia people were nomadic people and they were living in Mayurbhanj Similipal region. Before September 2024, they did not have habitat rights. And habitat right is a special right given to these PBTG people to live inside the forest. So my query is to you, sir, what kind of changes that habitat right brought to these people in terms of development as well as in terms of medical issues or medical facilities? Before earlier they were not settled, so nobody knows where these people are there. So today you will find them here, next day they will be somewhere else. Then a medical facility was a distant dream for them. But when habitat right was implemented, they were supposed to settle in a particular place. So what changes it bring? I mean, what is your observation to it? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Absolutely, it is very significant questions, and not actually question. It is very interesting aspect to understand that, as you mentioned, that even when I explain regarding my topic, I told that earlier, as you know that, sir, they settle themselves with a very close proximity with with the forest or near the forest. And right now your question is after the habitant right, and they right now they are living with other people also, and what kind of changes I observed during my study. Absolutely, sir. As I have already mentioned that earlier, one point also again I highlight here, that I mentioned that during my study I also observed that earlier the religious conversion among the Mankadia people was not so frequent. But during my study, I very long term discussion with the pastor of that village. So what I understood from their point of view, that earlier when they didn't convert to But what I understood from the discussion with the pastor, he has mentioned that, sir, it was the like situation that before the conversion, they were living like in a different way. Exact what I cannot explain it, but in different way. But after particular we have tried our level best to change the behavioral aspect. And coming to your point, sir, that when we talk about the behavioral change, that also includes the health consciousness of Mankidia people. Right now, as I have already mentioned that right now they also equally approach to the biomedicine. They go to the existing health care facilities, or they try to assess the existing health facilities, particular biomedicine. Thus, at the same time, they also even today they also 100% trust on their own community healers, and think is that, as I have already mentioned, that the felt need of Mankidia people, when they think they have to go the allopathic doctor, and when they try to find out that this disease will be cured by our Oja or Dhiri or Makito, the name of the traditional healers. But right now, I think this kind of changes has come, particularly the conscious level of Mankidia people. Early, they are not much more aware about it. So they were not, I think, fully ignorant, but somehow it was missing at the earlier time. But right now, they have developed a more balanced consciousness regarding their health, regarding their educations, and regarding their livelihood. Again, I also have highlighted that the change is not so dramatically, not so visible, but some extent it will be visible if you go to the particular area. Thank you. Okay.
Any more questions, suggestions? Career tribe, and there are three categories of persons. My question is that in the tribe there is always this religion, ritual, political system, and family system is linked together. So can you just highlight about this, how this healing person is associated with the political representation of this particular tribe you are talking about? Yes.
Absolutely. I think it is one of the unhighlighted aspect generally, and very interestingly, I have two blocks. I have chosen two blocks, one Karanjia and another Kendumundi. Khunta Karanjia. Okay. So very interestingly, this point I very minutely tried to find out the political affiliations, the political link of that tribe. Absolutely, what I observed in the Khunta block, particular the block I was working there, that particular village Mankidia people, they affiliated to the one national party. Even I take the name National Congress Party. Even I take, and I think very few, I think one or two, three, like they that time particular is the Biju Janata Dal. No one interested to BJP. And another block, the Karanjia block. Here the picture is, I think, slightly different. Here, few people linked to the Congress party. The majority of Mankidia in that block affiliated to Biju Janata Dal, and a very negligible number connected to the Bharatiya Janata Party. But even today also, when I interact with them, they are very politically conscious and political mature. So I openly share this here. You cannot tell that if we try to influence tribal people and they will influence by your own word. It is absolutely wrong. They have very predetermined whom to choose, why to choose, how to choose. So it is our ignorance that we think we easily manipulate them, we easily convince them, they will vote for us. It is absolutely wrong. So I think what I observed during field day, this is right. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I got an answer. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Hello, I have one reflection. The reason why they don't access health practices, regular conventional health practices, is also based on their worldview. Worldview, because for them, the root of the disease is not something that is natural or physical, rather it is something related to the ancestral lines as well as magic. Because sometimes, because I also belong from a Santal community and it is very closely related to the worldview, is quite closely related. So whatever I know is that the reason behind any sort of disease is also supernatural. So sometimes it is not always the lack of accessibility to medicine, but it is also the not choosing to go to the hospitals. So we can say that they have a conflict, that there is a consciousness about what allopathic medicine is, but there is also a challenge to the inherent lived experiences of them, as well as the indigenous traditional medicinal knowledge and magical practices they have. So how in this current situation, this complex question be dealt with? Because if we completely bring the allopathic medicine, then their own traditional practices will be hampered. But how is it that we preserve their own indigenous traditions as well as take them to the root mainstream? That is a challenge, how to navigate it in today's anthropological and sociological perspective.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Absolutely. It is a very significant questions. I would like to draw an example that it is absolutely very difficult to take a balancing approach to take help from their traditional medicine and practicing it in a proper manner, and the time they actually need to practice, one aspect. And second one, as you have already mentioned, that how it is, how it will be more easier to controlling or making a balance between the indigenous medicine and the existing biomedicines. In this regard, I would like to give an example. If you go America, if you go China, if you go even Japan, and even in India right now, I think the nomenclature of Ayurveda, as you all aware, that last 10, 12 years of this government, I think the mechanism to highlight, popularize Ayurveda, it is my personal opinion, I may be wrong, but it was not like earlier, Ayurveda. So, coming to the example I have tried to give you, the China. In China, the question you have asked, that how we integrate it, that is a big question. In China, they integrate the traditional medicine with their existing biomedicines, integrated medicines. Even you go America also, they take in a different name, but they also given a good status. But coming to India, I tell you, even today, you go, there are many brand name. One brand is Ramdev. Okay, you go, each and every medicine available there. Where they collect, which forest they collect, how they mechanize, how they process it, how they market it, that is a big question. And when you come to the tribal people, they have been staying in forest for a long time. They have a vast experience with the medicinal properties. So we sometimes, not sometimes, in many times, we doubt their knowledge. One aspect. And the same thing, same product, mechanized, marketized, processed by any XYZ, I don't take name. We try to buy from market, we use it. We have a trust. But the main thing is that it is all about our trust deficit. And when we are not recognizing the expertise, knowledge of tribal people, and they have a vast knowledge, they are knowledgeable, and we are not easily trust them. And there are certain issues, I will agree that they have good sound knowledge on medicinal property, they are using in day-to-day life, but there are certain things they have to work out, and in this regard, the government, the institution should come forward and help them also. Then we can integrate our traditional medicine with our existing medicine. Unless we have a trust deficit, we cannot build, we cannot develop our own indigenous medicine. So, namesake we are calling it, but we don't have any belief. You go, right now there are many people, they are claiming that cancer will also cure. Even I would like to give an example of the wife of Navjot Singh Sidhu. I'm not telling that it is right or wrong, but as they have claimed, we practice certain things that reduce the chances of cancer, that eliminate the percentage of cancer. That is a big thing. So I think it is all about the trust deficit. And there are certain things, it means some institutional support on behalf of the government. When we will get it, definitely we are able to integrate with our system. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I have one query. As the nomenclature of the Mankidia, belongs to belongs from their food habits, right? They generally call as monkey eater, right? So, are they still practicing this monkey eating, practices?
Yeah, right. No, just very good question. Absolutely, I think you also know that due to the.
Can we take one or two questions and answer once? One or two questions more? Okay, no. That would be the last question. This would be the last question, no?
Absolutely, you know that their name generally come from the practice of monkey eating habits. Absolutely right. But in present time, I observe they don't practice that monkey eating. But it was earlier. Right now, I think they are not practicing it. I observe, but I don't comment other aspect of other districts. No. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So they are not eating. If they are not eating now, should we consider or should we rethink to, renaming the Mankidia name? What do you think about this? Because as when tribals are, converting the religion from animism to Hindu to Christian, we are calling them Hindu, Christian.
Okay.
Then what do you think if they are, left out the practice of the monkey eating? So I don't think this name is, I think there is a defaming the name of Mankidia. So what do you think as a sociologist and anthropologist? Should we reconsider to renaming the name?
Yeah, absolutely. You are right, sir. But I think, as you know that I am a little person. So, but as you ask that, in my personal opinion, if they are not practicing such kind of habits, and you should not name in that name, in my personal opinion. But it needs a very rigorous discourse and debate whether we will call them Mankidia or not. It will take time, and I think you like many the genius anthropologists sitting here, and you people will further research, and then you should take a call. Okay, definitely. Okay, thank you all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Such a lively discussion. And the naming of anything is the long time process. Because any person name, and you give n number of examples of that. and every tribes have given their names from outsiders. Because there in Gujarat you can have the Kali Praja. Kali Praja is term for all tribes. And it is given by the outsiders. Outsiders means the other caste people, non-tribe people. So this is a phenomena everywhere. In Bihar you can find the people called Musahars. Musahars means rat-eating people. So this is the term used by other people. They do not call themselves as a rat-eater or as a mankadiya. So we have to look upon and search upon and do the field work towards their way of understanding, their emic perspective, what they think of themselves, what they think of their society, what they think of their culture. So this is a high time at this moment we must look upon this pertinent question. Okay, sir. With this, I thank Dr. Alok Kumar Patra and all the persons sitting here and their lively questions and discussion, and also thank for the organizers. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dhananjay, for sharing the session. Thank you, Dr. Alok Kumar Patra, for such a fascinating and interesting session. We have a short break now of